Welcome to Strictly Ball Business. I'm pretty sure this is episode 36. We are talking a few fun topics here in the middle of the playoffs, as we are. Right now, one of the main guys that we want to discuss is Grand Theft Alvarado, with what you most know him as. His real name is Jose, but Jose Alvarado will dive into what makes him so great. And we'll also talk a bit about why the Nets' failure is all Kyrie's fault. And after that, we'll talk a bit about polarizing on the other end. Number one seed, sorry, stumbling on my words here. Number one seed Miami Heat. We think they're the finals favorite, possibly. So we're going to talk about a bit about what they are bringing to the table here in the playoffs. We'll also talk about Rookie of the Year winner Scotty Barnes and why he ended up being the selection. And lastly, we'll talk about Jordan Poole, a guy lots of people thought should have won or at least been nominated for Most Improved Player. And we're going to talk a bit about what is he going to do moving forward, what can we expect out of him this playoffs and heading into next year. So starting off, we are talking about the clamp god, the man, the myth, the legend, Jose Grand Theft Alvarado, I mean. Oh, man, I missed the L there that first time. Otherwise, it's been so great. Bruce Banner would have been running. I would have been looking for his job. Anyways, Grand Theft Alvarado is our hidden gem of the week. He is a 23-year-old rookie, and he's not so hidden anymore as he's been uncovered in these playoffs. He was obviously, everyone knows at this point, a Defensive Player of the Year just last season at Georgia Tech, and he's showing why. Even against guys like Chris Paul, forcing two 8-second violations so far this series.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's the next coming of Pat Beverly in so many ways. Maybe not as a big of a personality, but he certainly has the antics to do. But
the personality will come, you know.
Yeah,
he certainly has the play style.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, he's 6 feet, 179 pounds. Does not strike you physically as the best defender, but he is. I mean, he's just sneaky. He just does the goofy stuff that I guess normal, that hiding in the in the over by the baseline, that's more taboo. Players are I mean, we could do that, but he just does it anyway. That's
he does the things that other guys are embarrassed to do, you know.
Yeah, which is fine. He's turned it into his personality, and it's NBA is not about image all told. It's about going out there and playing, and this guy just seems like he's just so happy to be playing NBA basketball. I mean, he was a 2-way contract pickup, got signed for a 4-year contract, 4-year, $6.7 million contract with a team option in the last year. I mean, but he doesn't.
The man's made it.
Yeah, I mean, you rarely ever see 4-year contracts that low, like a 4-year contract that goes $2 million. But he just doesn't care. He just wants to get out there and play, you know. And that's
a lot of money. You know, everything aside, sure, compared to other players, it may not seem like a lot, but to someone who probably hasn't seen $1 million in his life, I'm sure $4 million, $6 million sounds great.
Oh yeah, well that's over 4 years, so he gets about 1.5, which is still that's a lot to us.
Well, yeah, he accumulates that's guaranteed money.
It's all guaranteed except for the last year, but yeah. I mean, and
you gotta assume he'll get back into free agency after a couple good years here, and he'll get a nice second contract, assuming everything stays on the right trajectory. And for a guy like him who plays hard, I see no reason why he wouldn't. And the pressure that he just puts on ball handlers, teams are always going to be looking for guys like that because it's just relentless. You need to have guys with that type of mentality. It feeds off into other guys. Your comparison to Patrick Beverly, totally spot on. And if Jose can somehow energize his teammates into playing hard defense as well, you suddenly got a really good defensive team.
Yeah, defensive plays are, aside from insane dunks, are the thing that can inspire a team to play so much harder. I mean, I don't know if there's anything better than a nice defensive play that gets a team going. Honestly, aside from the physical fact that it opens up the fast break. But just one play, you get one fast break, there's always a timeout afterwards because coaches know that how much that affects the team. And he's just full of these plays, constant. That's not the reason the Pelicans are doing well, but these moments really help. And the playoffs all about specific moments here and there. And he's showing that he can be out there and be effective. I mean, we've talked about Josh Okogie being a great defender and how well he is, but they don't put him on the floor because he's such an offensive liability. And Jose is really gaining that, especially in the playoffs. He's shooting 40% from three. I mean, only 7.4 points per game, but as a primary defender, you don't need to score that much. But what you do know, you do need to be a decent shot or someone where they can't just leave you and know you're not going to make it and you not make it. If he's shooting 40%, they're daring him to make it, and he is making them. That's so valuable just to have on both sides of the court.
Yeah, and there's obviously room for improvement with him. I think his shot looks fine. He's a little undersized, obviously, but usually that only matters in terms of defense. It kind of depends, like how far can he get that shot over guys? Do we need to adjust that shooting motion to make sure it is getting over the taller defenders? Maybe he really works on like a teardrop floater, something like that. Gets like some signature move where he can get inside and get a bucket. Because I think like that would really open up his game if he does that. Plus, be consistent on the corner three. He's set if he can do those types of things.
Yeah, for sure. I think off-ball shooting is the main part. I do like seeing that he has some playmaking potential. I mean, in the regular season, he only shot 29 from three, but he's improved over the season, and obviously he's improved into the playoffs. But 2.8 assists on 0.7 turnovers. I think there's some spark there for some tertiary or secondary playmaking off ball from CJ or Devontae Graham if he's coming off the bench. I think certainly that only helps out. We've seen, especially with the Golden State Warriors, how wing playmaking can just make a team. And obviously that's been Devin Booker's role, as he doesn't stack up assists, but that secondary playmaking, to have a really good playmaker be in that spot helps out. And certainly I think he can get to the point of the playmaking Devin Booker can be at, 5 assists with like with 1.5 turnovers type around that deal. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but it matters. Look at the Suns, right? And I think he can get there. Obviously not that offensive skill, but to be able to play make, like at very least like Devin Booker, will be so helpful off CJ and Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you just need guys that can help move the ball and keep things fluid within the offense, because as you see, if you can get everyone on the same level, maybe you got a few good passers, you're pushing it out to the perimeter, you're knocking it in on a pick and roll, and it's constantly moving, rather than having a stagnant ISO offense, which they can still do because they've got star level players who can do ISO, but you got to have your guys that can keep things fluid as well.
Oh yeah, and especially when Zion comes back, if he's gonna be on these fast breaks, getting these steals, he's got to be able to toss that lob up for Zion, and I think he's definitely gonna be able to do that. I mean, realistically,
Lonzo, so kind of needs someone to step up in terms of passing ability for sure.
Realistically, everyone on this team should be able to throw a lob with Zion on the team.
Yeah, he can catch most of them. So, I forget sometimes too that CJ is kind of more their de facto point guard at this point. He's going to probably be the starter at point guard next year. Obviously, Alvarado, primary backup, I assume at that point. Maybe he gets some minutes at the 2. He's probably a little small for that, but maybe dependent on matchups.
Yeah, he could definitely be at the 2. Who else? Oh, Herb Jones could definitely be out there. I think Herb Jones still would take it over Alvarado, GTA
for sure.
But I mean, certainly off the bench he's great, and I mean it doesn't hurt your depth to have a guy that can defend like that, especially if CJ goes down. I think they're going to lean, which CJ is a very injury-prone player. I'm sure they're going to lean on him a little bit more to do some playmaking. I don't know. I assume my assumption would be Devontae Graham would be the next up to. I mean, if CJ went down, Devontae would start as point guard. Is my assumption. I don't think they would put Alvarado, especially with Herb Jones in the lineup.
Maybe. I mean, if you want good defense, you put in Jose. But
yeah, I mean, Herb's still.
If you want okay offense, maybe put in Devontae. But I don't think like he's that much better than Alvarado.
Devontae Graham, certainly playmaking. Yeah. I think Devontae, and shooting, definitely shooting. Devontae
he's like Graham's not even like a high percentage 3-point shooter though. He's just a high volume 3-point.
He's a high volume, but still, I mean, even that takes its own. Like being able to, it means he's still getting into his spots and taking the shots. Eventually he will, I'm not eventually, but he makes enough, and he does. Certain nights he'll be really cold. His efficiency isn't from just consistently inefficient. I think it's more consistently inconsistent. Some nights he'll have a really good shooting night. Some nights he won't. But that's Devontae Graham. That's another video. I don't know. I think we're straying away from the point.
All right. Well, anyways, that's Grand Theft Alvarado, a hidden gem. Obviously, he's been uncovered by the New Orleans Pelicans at the ripe age of 23. Let's see what he keeps doing after this, guys. Let us know what you think. And that's about it on that guy.
Yo, Strictly Ball Business. I'm Alec, and this is Dalton. We always talk about the NBA. Come join us, and let's have some fun.